What's up, guys? Vandalin here, also known as Cal, and today we're diving back into Warcraft 3 Reforged to go through the campaign again, only this time on hard difficulty. So, let's get started. So I have to say, I know one of people's biggest complaints about Warcraft 3 has been that the graphics we were promised, we were kind of underdelivered on.
Prince Arthas.
But honestly, I'm really
Uther.
happy with
I'm
it.
not king yet.
I mean, could it have
It's
been
good to
better?
see you.
Yeah, but
I'm
you know, it's still a massive upgrade. You know, instead of like the weird blocky textures that it used to be, it's drastically improved.
It is a father's right to dream,
And
isn't
who
it?
knows, maybe they'll revamp it again in the future.
Look, here's where we stand.
But
Our
as
scouts
someone who
have
grew up
confirmed
playing
that
this
there's an
game,
orc encampment hidden somewhere over the next ridge.
I really was happy
As I suspect.
with what
It
they
gets
did.
worse. They're preparing to attack the nearby village of Strahnbrad. As far as we know, the village is completely defenseless.
Ah, yes, a gun-free zone, if you will.
I need to move against the orcs base immediately. Can you handle Strahnbrad's defense on your own?
Of course, Uther. Don't worry about me.
Good. Meet me at the orc camp once you've saved the
So,
village.
This
Be
was
careful,
always kind of
Arthas.
one of the interesting missions to start off with. And if you look at the way that things play out in Reign of Chaos campaigns, with the exception of the Night Elves, every one of them
The light is my
is a
strength.
campaign where, I mean,
A
basically
sound
you
plan.
don't start with a base. You start off mobile and just kind of pursuing something. And the
Foul
prologue, the prelude, whatever you want to call it, with Thrall,
Feel my wrath.
you're just following the
Of
prophet.
course.
This one, you're leading a bunch of footmen in the defense of Strahnbrad.
Betrayer of the light.
The undead, you're
Certainly.
gathering up the cult of the damned,
Of course.
and the orcs, you're
Certainly.
on the shores of Kalimdor,
Of course.
just trying to rally all the
You are
ships and
past
all the troops
redemption.
and everything. So it's interesting that they went only with the Night Elves having a
Certainly.
base in their first mission.
Greetings,
Um,
my lord.
I don't know why they did that. Not that I really complain, not that it really makes
Welcome to
much
our
of a difference in the grand scheme of things. Especially because the script... how do I put this right?
Of
Especially
course.
because the script got a little flipped
A sound plan.
in the process. Where instead of a base-free first mission and
You are past redemption.
no base second mission for Night Elves, it was the exact
Feel my
opposite.
wrath.
And one of the most annoying
For
second
honor.
missions in the
Of
game.
course.
Oh
Please,
gosh,
you're
I
my
hate the
only
second Night Elf
hope.
mission. Almost as much as I hate like the fifth one. Or no, fourth one.
Could you find
Whatever
him and
one
bring
it is
him
with the Druids of
home?
the Talon. I hate that one.
Certainly.
But
Help me, please. I'm trapped in the cage.
oh, poor little Timmy. And of course they had to go with the name like Timmy.
A sound plan.
But
For my father, the king.
yeah, it's, I don't know, it's always been
Please
some,
get me
it's
outta here.
been an interesting
I wanna
observation.
go home.
I stand for the light.
Oh, you do now.
Thanks so much. I have a reward for you.
Feel my wrath. You are past
So,
redemption.
you may wonder why I go out of my way to blow up some of these buildings
Foul knave.
when they
For my
don't really
father,
seem
the
to yield
king.
anything. Sorry about that.
For honor.
And part of the reason why is simply because sometimes they
Of
do.
course.
I don't remember every building in the game that does, but sometimes they yield, you know, artifacts or,
A sound plan.
you know, tomes or just
course.
really kind of anything that could be beneficial. In all
Certainly.
honesty, it doesn't take you that long to destroy them, and you could
A
get
sound
something
plan.
fairly beneficial in the process. So it just makes sense
Of
to,
course.
when you see a destructible you can actually attack, to do so. Like this farm right here, I can't do anything about
I'm here to
because it's
help.
invulnerable. But
A
like those
sound
Knoll
plan.
dwellings and like the bandit ones that we're going to come
Honor.
across here in not too long,
Of course.
those are easy.
It's a trap. Take everything, man. Take all the valuables.
Now, would a bandit really talk like that? Take all the valuables? I mean, that just seems like a little too formal to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Of course.
But it doesn't seem to jive with the bandit feel.
Certainly. Of course.
So I'm doing something a little different here, actually. I normally go with Holy Light and Devotion Aura,
Bandits are stealing our belongings.
but I want to try going with
We'll
Divine
take their
Shield
coins
this
and
time,
everyone else's.
just because, I played this campaign
Those
more times than I'd
bandits
care to
stole my
admit,
ledger.
both
Without
between
it,
this and
I
Frozen
will
Throne.
lose my entire farm.
And
Please,
I've always gone the same way.
retrieve it from their camp.
And
It will
so
mean
I
so
figure,
much to
let's try something a little different. Let's
Betrayer of the light.
let's mix it up with Divine Shield, especially because in the Defensive Hearthglen mission, that could actually get to be really, really useful to be able to just kind of tie stuff up.
You are
Playing on
past
hard
redemption.
difficulty, I can,
Not enough mana.
I don't know, I can see it working better.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I can see it working out better.
Justice has come.
Say your prayers.
A sound plan.
Not enough mana.
This is one of the biggest things that I kind of hate about early on, is that, ow. Gosh,
Of course.
ow, junk. Is that it's so easy to lose your troops.
For honor.
I mean, it doesn't take much, because you don't have as high a mana, you don't have as high a mana
I stand
regen,
for the light.
and so when you've got a spell that doesn't actually
sound plan.
do all that much because it's level 1 or rank 1, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Feel my wrath.
But I mean, that's just part of the challenge of the game. This is hard mode. This isn't meant to be easy.
For my father, the
And
king.
yeah,
Certainly.
I do have to admit though, playing through
Of
this
course.
like I did blitzing through in that first week that it was out to get all those videos up,
A sound plan.
all the nostalgia was thick. Because I still remember, very rectangle face Arthas and everything else.
Thank you for helping me.
And
Please take this item.
yeah. Actually, funny fact, back in Reign of Chaos, he used to give you a Tome of
A
Strength
sound
plus
plan.
2, which is what he still gives you. But back then, tomes were,
Certainly.
or no, it's okay, I guess
The
it's just
attack
a
has
Tome
already
of Strength
begun.
plus 1. But
To arms,
back
my
then,
brothers.
tomes were
Of course.
just inventory items. They didn't automatically apply
Betrayer of
like
the
they
light.
do now. Like they started that in Frozen Throne, where tomes would automatically
For
give you the
honor.
stat. You didn't actually have to carry them in your inventory, which was kind of nice. It made for maps, like custom maps, where you could buy tomes of like plus 1 million or whatever stat like that, and then had to click them numerous times. It kind of rendered them moot, just because you'd only get the stat that it was initially based off of. So like tomes of plus like 2,000 strength. Oh, these guys have names. I actually never noticed that. The ones that get run over.
Of
Interesting.
course.
And so like it kind of screwed that up for a lot of the custom maps, which really kind of sucked.
Not enough mana.
Is there danger?
But
Betrayer of
people
the light.
worked around it. They adapted to it. They made like potions and stuff that would do that with a number of charges, and it worked out.
Foul knave.
Of course. A sound plan.
Now, I don't know what's going on here.
I
Some of these
stand for the
crates
light.
are either like ridiculously impossible
Of
to
course.
click, or
Justice has come.
Like, you can't click them at all. Like, you have to get right at the certain right angle, and that really, really annoys me.
Plan.
Because, you know, a lot of times crates will contain something useful. And, I mean, that's their whole point and purpose, is to be indestructible that's got useful stuff in them. And if you can't destroy them, then, you know, you kind of SOL. Kind of screwed. Yeah. I don't know. This is my first running commentary on a game, so I hope you guys aren't too bored with this.
Honor. Certainly.
But, you know, starting out, there's really not a whole lot to say other than this is the beginning of the game.
Haul these wretches off with the rest of them. Move them out.
What's something I've always kind of questioned, though, was that by this point, canonically anyway, Thrall had rallied the Horde.
Certainly.
Thrall had already set sail for Kalimdor.
Of course.
So why did the Blackrocks opt not to go with the rest of the Horde? Why is it that they stayed behind? I mean, could it be because they knew the Legion was coming and they wanted their chance? I don't know. If someone's got an answer for that, feel free to comment. But it seems like Thrall had enough sway. I mean, he was the war chief. He was given the Doomhammer by Orgrim Doomhammer.
Of course.
And he was the legitimate war chief. So why would they not heed his call? Why would they not come when he's like, hey, we're leaving. We're setting sail. We're getting away from the humans. Why would they want to stay? I do not know the answer to that question.
A sound plan.
But I don't know. Maybe that's just a deep lore nerd history thing that I have to explore later on. Ultimately, it really doesn't change much in terms of the gameplay. But yeah, it's just an interesting observation. So, anywho, that's the first mission.
Bless you,
And man,
Prince
this
Arthas.
end cutscene
But what about the
is
others
so
who were
different.
taken away?
You know, Arthas couldn't
Don't worry,
kneel. There was so many.
find them
It
and
was
bring
just
them
so
home safe.
blocky. And
Arthas, Lord Uther needs you at the orc.
if you guys have never played
Never
classic
alone.
Warcraft 3,
Let's get moving.
you really need to play it. Because you can't truly appreciate Reforged without knowing what it came from. Anyway, that was episode 1. See you in the next one.